Hello, it's
Hi, back
Brad and
again.
Kelly. We're back.
Media chat.
um,
Mhm.
today, Brad, we are
Yeah.
talking about living your best life. Do you feel like you're living your best life?
Right now, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess right
sometimes
now.
like not having like to really go anywhere sometimes seems good when you have to go places, but now
Yeah,
it's kind of boring.
I I kind of like it. I have such an
Well, that's
introvert,
true.
and my personhood is such an introvert, and so it's been very nice not to have any social obligations.
Well, that's true. I mean, that is kind of nice when it's like you don't have to worry about going places and talking to
Yeah,
people, really.
it's
I
true.
don't I just get like for a while there, and that's kind of why like going back to work yesterday, I was for a day was kind of interesting because it's just
That
like
was your
been the
first day
same.
back.
Like every weekday has been the same for like since March, and it
Right.
started to like not
Did you
me.
have trouble though? Like I had to do this. Brad's working 1 day a week, I'm working 1 day a week, and we're slowly getting back into the habit. But like getting up, getting dressed, like taking a shower, getting ready, getting
Hmm.
breakfast and getting out the door. I feel like the muscles, like metaphoric muscles for that,
Yeah,
are completely atrophied.
I
I
hear what
mean,
you're
I'm like
saying.
in slow motion. I'm like, what do you mean I have to get out of the house by 8? I don't even know what I'm doing yet. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's
so
like
weird.
having that deadline is kind of stressful. Well, not
Yeah,
stressful, but just like, oh
it's
wait, I
different.
have to like put on clothes, like not just like gym
Not
shorts
just a
and like
shirt.
a ratty ass t-shirt. Oh, ratty t-shirt. Sorry, we're on
Right.
YouTube.
Yeah, so it's a whole different thing. I guess we'll have to just like ease back into it. But
Yeah.
okay, so living your best life. I know that could mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people, but I guess we can only recommend stuff for us that works for us, right? Um so do you want to start with books because we're librarians and that's what books
Sure.
librarians do? Um the first one I want to talk about, and I can just talk about it really quickly. It's I really find myself aligning with Buddhist philosophy and a Buddhist approach to life. And there's this wonderful Buddhist teacher. Her name's Sherry Huber, and
Mhm.
she has a lot of really great books. But my favorite one is "There Is Nothing Wrong with You: Going Beyond Self-Hate," and it's super matter of fact,
Yeah.
um, and yet also really, I think, paradigm shifting and a new way of thinking. It's really good, like how self-hate works and how to get beyond it. It's a really
Hmm.
good book. Yeah.
So, is it like a step-by-step process, or does she just like
Um,
talking about?
there is some step-by-step stuff like meditation and things that you can meditate that are related to self-hate and compassion and so there's that, but there's also just ways of thinking about self-hate and why it happens and
Yeah.
um what it's about and beginning to distance yourself from those self-hate thoughts. It's really
That's
good.
cool.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. What?
that can really like mess you up. I guess. I mean, to put it
Oh
weirdly, could
yeah.
mess you up. But yeah, it's like, how can you really like live your best life if you're already like hating yourself every day?
Yeah, I feel like that is something we all battle, like to different degrees,
Sure.
of course, and I feel like it's so central to just any success in our lives. Yeah. And any
Right.
feeling of serenity, right? If you're constantly kind of berating yourself and you might not even realize you do it. I mean,
Yeah,
so natural, right?
that's true. I mean, and I feel like not like society, but I mean, there's a lot of ways to like things to judge yourself against.
Oh yeah.
Mean, especially with like social media, like the way people look, the what,
I
like
was
what
just
they
gonna
do.
say,
Should I be
yeah,
doing this? Should I be
yeah.
eating this? Should I be like wearing this? Like
Right. And
that
Instagram
comes
is
into your face.
can be so
Yeah,
dangerous. Yeah. So
yeah,
only subscribe to really great Instagram accounts that affirm you. Don't subscribe to the ones where you're like, my house doesn't
yeah.
look like that. Yeah.
There's this woman. I don't know if you ever watched the Good Life show or
I have. I
the Good
watched
Place show.
The
Sorry, the
Good
Good
Place.
Place.
I've watched the first season. I need to
Um,
get back on that.
Tahani, the actress who plays her,
Yeah.
is like
Oh,
she
she's big in body positivity.
yeah, she's like really rails against like the people on Instagram, like the influencers, as she
Hmm.
puts it.
Yeah, she's come
Um,
down real hard on the Kardashians
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
some things
But
that they've done. Yeah. So, all right, what's your book? What is a book that you?
okay, well, my book is called, well, my book is about, I guess this is like, I wouldn't say like coming out of the closet but I used to like have a really like strong fear of flying.
Okay.
And I took this, like, it was 2005, like I was starting to travel, I was going on semester at sea, so I was like, I really need to work on this.
You need to nip
And
that
I
in the bud, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I worked on this program. It was an online program at that time, but it's by this guy named Captain Tom Bunn.
Okay.
He's like a retired airline pilot, plus he's also a therapist. So he came up
Okay.
with this program called SOAR, SOAR. He
Oh,
calls it
well, of
SOAR.
course. That's so brilliant.
Yeah, but he basically came up with this way to like, his whole philosophy is like a lot of people like fear flying, but like sometimes because of their just mental, like just the way that they were raised, or just like weird things in their brain chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
like just knowing that flying safe isn't enough to keep them from like having anxiety about it. So he came up
Right.
with this like program, and he wrote a book recently. It was a couple years ago, and actually we have it at the library, and it is available
That's great.
online.
Okay.
It's called SOAR, the Breakthrough Treatment for Fear of Flying, and it does work. Like right, like I mean, I've flown all over the place
I was
now,
gonna say, like, you
and
travel a lot, so
yeah, it's basically like well, it's like I mean, there's a bunch of different processes, and it's like at this point you like talk to him, and he gave you like what he thought, because it's like instead of like buying the whole thing or buying the whole treatment, but this
hmm.
book kind of goes through everything. He just gave you what you thought you needed, and
Okay.
there's like these exercises that came up that kind of like automatically train your brain to
Sure.
like, so like when you get on a plane, like you feel, it's weird. It's just like you automatically feel like comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean, I think the fact that we can train our brains with what we think, I mean, you really can
right.
change your
So
thinking.
in this book, he kind of decided to, and so this book like has pretty much all that stuff. Like I had to pay for some of this, and it's out there for free in this book,
Oh,
and
that's nice.
it's really helpful. It talks a lot about like the physics and mechanics of flying. If like a lot of people just don't know about it, so
Hmm.
it's like that's kind of what bothers them.
Right,
So
and
like
that
all they
can be
need to know is
very,
that. But
yeah,
then
that
some
can be
people need
relaxing.
like this automatic protection from
Hmm.
anxiety. So it's like it just kind of like automatically keeps you from getting anxious about anything. Like
And
about,
you're living proof that it is a
yeah.
process that can
But I
work.
mean, a lot of people have done this program
Hmm.
throughout the years. It's like been around for a really long time. And he kind of like it's like it's gone through state, but he like fine tuned it to this.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I would suggest if anybody has that to read it, or if they know someone that
Hmm.
um
To
yeah.
suggest
And
that.
here's the thing, it's like short, it's easy to understand, it's not anything complicated. It's
Hmm.
just and the cool thing is you can join like his newsletter through email, and like you can email him and he'll talk to you. Like it's a really like cool laid back dude.
Yeah.
And it's also like there's an app and you can download them like e-files, but the book is really good. And
Yeah.
if that's like, if that's a problem for you, so
That's awesome. I
yeah.
have never had a fear of flying. Like, my fear is wind turbines. So I don't know
Oh,
if
those
there's
big
a,
wind turbines.
yeah, I don't know if there's a book on how to deal with your fear of wind turbines.
Well, the cool thing is like these exercises you can sort of
Oh, like adapt
tune
them to
them.
like
Yeah,
whatever
like a lot
fear.
of people who have like fear of like bridges and elevators also use this program.
Okay.
And it's also just not for people, like it's also for people who just like aren't afraid of flying but have panic attacks and are afraid of
Hmm.
having a panic attack,
Like on a plane.
which is
Yeah.
a separate thing. It's like because they can't escape, like they don't know what to do when they're
Right.
panicking, and this also works for that. So there's like, it's like any kind of like, from being just like kind of afraid to being like I can never set foot on a plane ever again, like
Right.
this can help you.
That's
I feel like
awesome.
if you, I mean, if you try it and do what you're supposed to do,
Yeah. If you work the
take some
program,
work on your
the
part,
program
but
works. Right. Um, okay. Here are my notes. I have a lot, so I won't share all of them. It's hard to pick. Well, I have to share this one. It's called Good Morning, Good Night, and Little Pep Talks for Me and You. And it's by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who did Hamilton.
yeah.
And it's this little
Hamilton.
book. I want to say it's maybe like this big. I listened to the audio of the book, which is interesting. I feel like it would be better to have read it because you can kind of ruminate because it's really short. But
Does he narrate it by
He
any
does.
chance?
Of course he
Okay.
does. Yeah, he narrates it, and it came from it's a book of affirmations, not aspirations, to inspire readers at the beginning and the end of each day. So he tells, he talks about how he did it. He wrote them for himself, really, when he was, kind of feeling down and stressed, and he then started to share them on Twitter, and they gained this massive following. So he's like,
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
put them all in a book. Yeah. So like one example is, good morning. Do not get stuck in the comments section of life today, which is so great. We all know not to read the
That is
comments.
some great advice, yeah.
Good advice. Make, do, create the things. Let others tussle it out. Vamos. It's really like conversational, and it's really casual, and it's funny, and it's a little sassy, but it's so affirming. And I liked hearing him say it because, his whole personality comes through. So the audiobook is good. It's on Libby. Um,
Oh, cool, yeah.
yeah, and some libraries have the actual book. I think we own the book, but I'm not
I
sure if
believe we
it's
do. It sounds
checked
familiar to
out.
me.
Yeah, I think I ordered it as part of the featured nonfiction.
I was gonna say that sounds like a nice
Yeah.
part of the featured
Um,
nonfiction.
yeah, so it's full of comfort and motivation. It's a touchstone for anyone who needs a quick lift. That was all taken from the Goodreads description of the book.
That's
But it's
cool.
a fun little book. Okay. All right. Moving on. What's your next one?
Is this a book
It doesn't
or?
have to be. You can go on to another
Oh, okay.
format if you'd like.
Well, the second thing that I kind of want to talk about is an app actually, and I'm sure you've all heard of it, but it's called Headspace. Um,
Yes.
and especially now, I feel like a lot of people are probably struggling with just like relaxing and stress and all that kind of thing. And it's sort of like a meditation app, but um, there's lots of well, I guess it's like there's lots of choices on what you want to meditate on because there's kind of like courses where it's like you feel like you have a specific problem. Like I'm having trouble sleeping
Mhm.
because of like I'm like ruminating on everything. So it's like there's like these meditations for that. And then it's like if you feel like you're overstressed, they're for that. Or if you're just like you have anxiety or but then there's just like daily meditations if you just want to like meditate and relax. Like you can kind of like choose how you want to kind of deal with your problems, like specifically like if you feel like you have a specific problem or you just want to like try meditation, kind of
Mhm.
works for both of them. And there's also really cool ones for like walking, like working at like there's a walking one where it's like gets you to focus on walking instead of like I don't know if you have this problem if you try to like go for a walk, but it's like you get distracted and then you just like don't know where to go and then you like want to just come home, but this like keeps you focused on like
Yeah.
your goal. And I mean there's ones for running, ones for biking, so it's like really all over the place. And the cool thing is like there's ones for like high level, like if you were like a high level achiever, like an athlete, there's ones for you to like focus better on your game, like
Oh
things like
wow.
that. So it's like really now it is like does cost money, but since the COVID-19 thing, they have a lot of free things up there that you can just go and use.
Oh, that's nice.
And
Yeah, because I remember getting the app for free, but then there's like in-app purchases,
mhm.
and so I
Now
never kind of moved beyond. Yeah.
I'm lucky. My partner Tara, she works for CMU, so I'm able to get it free, and it was developed at CMU. Which,
Oh, that's very cool.
yeah. But I feel like it really helps. I mean, I've never much of a meditator, and it's not anything like really mystical at this point. It's just kind
Hmm.
of like training your mind to like relax, get out of your head,
Yeah, I think
and
some people have like a weird impression of what meditation is, and it's really
right.
not. It's just
I,
quieting your mind.
well, I mean, there's that like
Yeah,
was it transcendental meditation that like David Lynch is all about. That's like a different thing. Like you have
that's
to like
very
join
different.
that club before you get the secrets of it.
Yeah,
You're not gonna like float or like have special
yeah,
powers, but
yeah,
it just kind of keeps you out of your head. And even
yeah.
just like some of the free stuff, like the sleep ones, just like little things that I picked up from that, just like breathing at
Hmm.
night and like focusing on your breath, like it helps you fall asleep. It's like you really can kind of go all out and try to become like a
Buddhist monk.
everyday meditator, or there's just like little
Right.
things that help you, and that's what I really think is cool about it.
Yeah.
Also, you can pick your voice, like if you prefer a female voice, a male voice.
Or like a British accent voice.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
they both have British accents, I believe. I
okay.
believe one is the main guy, Andy, who he's like a Buddhist monk
Uh huh.
slash meditator guy /
Okay.
app creator. He I believe he's Australian, but yeah, his voice is pretty soothing. And then there's a female person. So like, yeah, if you like British accents, definitely.
That's where to go.
Yeah.
Well, that is a
But,
good one.
I
I
feel like it
have
really works,
dabbled
and
on that one.
especially if you're struggling now. I mean, there's free stuff that you can do. I mean, you can compare it to like that Calm app, but that's more. This I feel like has a lot of different things that you can work on. Like Calm
Hmm.
is more just like relaxing, and this is like, well, I need to focus better on like my job. Like there's
Yeah.
meditations for that. So, I think anybody can really get anything out of it.
I can recommend one other one too that's called Insight Timer, and that's
Okay.
also a lot of really good meditation
Yeah.
choices and focus on different things. Yeah, those are both really good. Um, okay, so moving on from books, even though I had like 6 more books.
You can do more books. That's
Somehow I
fine. I
think
know.
this podcast is an hour long.
Okay.
Um, it's not. Okay, so I would recommend a really great podcast called On Being, and
Mm-hmm.
it's with Krista Tippett. It's like my most listened to and anticipated podcast. I have a lot of podcasts that I subscribe to,
Yeah.
but only like 2 that I listen to really regularly, and this is one
Yeah.
of them. And she is so, I just love the show. But it's big questions of meaning, so like spiritual inquiry and science and social healing and the arts. And every
Whoa.
week you kind of, I love that they describe it, discovering the immensity of our lives. I think that's so,
Wow.
a really cool description, because it really encompasses a lot. She interviews and talks to poets and scientists and artists and photographers and actors and politicians and social justice people and writers and all kinds of people. It's really cool. Yeah, and I
That
feel
is
like
cool.
it's so life affirming. And I don't know if you're like me, I kind of miss those like epic conversations you would have in college about meaning of life and everything.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of time for that now. So this
No.
this kind of fills that gap a little bit. I
Okay.
kind of wish I had people to talk about the episodes with, because they're so juicy, but they're still great to listen to even by yourself. So
How often, like how many episodes a week
I
or a
think there's
month?
one a week.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
good. Like,
And then on the pod, like you can, they also have like an unedited one. So that's usually like an hour and a half. You can get like the whole thing,
okay.
but they're like 40 minutes. They're
Yeah.
also, she also has a show on NPR on Being. That's how I discovered it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can listen to it. I think it's like, I want to say it's like Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. So not a great time for a lot of
Well, that's why there's
podcasts.
podcasts. You can
Right,
listen
exactly.
later.
Right. And you can listen to it just on their website too. So if you're kind of like, what's a podcast? You can just go right onto the website. Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's available at all your podcasting, like
Yes. All your
iTunes and
platforms. Yeah. I listen to it on
Stitcher.
something called Outcast. Wait, is that right? Overcast. I always say Outcast.
Overcast.
Overcast. Yeah, it's a cool app for podcasts. Okay, so we probably have like time for one more from you, and then that'll probably be it. There's so many
Uh,
more.
yeah, I'm not sure if I have any more that like I think work for me from my experience.
Okay. I definitely have
But
more.
okay, well, yeah, I was gonna talk about one that maybe that I know other people. I did try, and it did work for me, but I felt like it was really hard. And you'll remember this. It's like the Whole30 plan.
Oh yeah.
Lose weight, yeah. Um, and it worked for me, but it's so
It's pretty
basically for like
strict.
30 days, you cut out a lot of stuff that you
Yeah.
would normally consume, like dairy. So basically, like you're eating like meat and vegetables, like kind of, but some vegetables you can't, and you're drinking water and like black coffee. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but the idea is it like boosts your body, and like at some point, I guess through the month, you're supposed to feel like supercharged. That never really happened to me, but I did lose a lot of weight. I lost like 16 pounds in a
Yeah.
month. So,
Yeah.
um,
Ooh,
it was
that
just
seems
hard for
kind
me to
of a lot
sustain.
for a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's hard to sustain, like, and you don't really have to. That's the thing, but
Yeah.
um the cool thing is it's like it gives you like a breakdown on how to do it,
Hmm.
and then it has a lot of like like the food that you're supposed to make. Like there's a lot of good stuff to eat. So
Yeah.
like that's why I would recommend it. Like there's some stuff on there that we still make, like some soups, like these
Hmm.
like Asian sort of soups and just like other things. But
Hmm.
I know a lot of other people who got like that. They called it like tiger blood. You know how it's kind of cheesy, but it's like you get this supercharged feeling. Like, and
Yeah.
I mean, I felt good by the end, but I never felt like that. So I don't know if it was something I did wrong or like what. But
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend that to like people that like it kind of gives you a boost into like
Hmm.
being healthier. And I think that's why I would recommend trying it. Like if you want to like get on track. Um, but the other people I talked to before I did it, like a lot of like Tara's friends and things that have done it, like they really felt that like superpower, supercharged tiger blood, and they're
Yeah.
all
Oh,
about
wow.
it. And they'll do it like every once in a while, like once a year, they'll do it for a month or so.
Yeah.
Um, so I would recommend that. That's the only really like diet book kind of thing I've ever really read
Hmm.
or checked out. So that would be, I mean, I think it's something worth trying out if you just have to be, I don't know, but the first couple weeks are kind of crappy. So
Yeah.
just
It's only a
another
month,
warning.
so that's the whole time practically. Um,
Yeah, but then you're supposed to feel like Superman after that. And
yeah, but then
I
it
just
doesn't.
felt like I wasn't crabby more. Maybe that's all the tiger blood I'll ever get. I don't
Well,
know.
it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to mention a podcast called Love Food, and it's there's just and this isn't, everyone has different opinions on things, but there's a
Hmm.
lot of research that dieting is incredibly damaging, right, to
Yeah.
people, and a lot of projects like that, and things can be really hard on the body because you're kind of like restricting and all this, and for many women usually it's like our relationship with food is incredibly problematic, and
Yeah.
it's this really great podcast that is really about food not being your enemy, and your body is really kind of tired of good versus bad food, and
Okay.
how to kind of make peace with all of that. So those are two kind of different takes on
Yeah.
nourishing yourself with food. So things work different for everyone. Um,
The
but
good thing
yeah,
about
maybe
this
we
is,
should do a part two because I have so many more.
yeah, maybe we have to.
Yeah. Well, is that it? I hope you're all living your best lives.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll all get out of quarantine-ish,
Right.
this,
Hopefully, like we're
soon.
getting.
Yeah. So, but take care, everybody.
Okay. Bye. See you next week.
Bye.